think it's, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see so many wonderful, beautiful faces. Welcome. We have musicians coming in from the ether this morning, so we will enjoy some recorded music. We think we've figured it all out and it's working. So without further ado, we'll start with our opening song, "Blessed Be."
Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Life unfolds with grace and ease, endless possibilities. They're everywhere, they've always been, when I choose to let them in. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. I've outgrown those smaller dreams, the way they used to limit me. I make the space, invite love in, magic fills my life again. Shoo, 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 shoo. There's something bigger calling me to follow where my passion leads. I trust that flow, don't need to know. I dance into the great unknown. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. I'm finally free, you know I'm finally free, oh blessed be.
Thank you, Sue Riley. So yes, welcome everybody. Welcome those joining us online, either live or later today. Welcome to Unity Vancouver Island. I am today's platform leader. I haven't done this in a while. Reverend Thomas, and we have a wonderful guest speaker for you today. Reverend Amanda will be speaking on Tell Me the Truth. Yeah. I can't wait to be told the truth. So wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whatever has you joining us today, you are 100% welcome here. Yeah, we love people. It's amazing. We do. And we must begin, of course, with acknowledging the land that we are on, the sacred land of the Snuneymuxw people. And we thank them for their thousands of years of taking care of this land and allowing us to now be here. And what I really enjoy is the fact that their openness to nurture us in the understanding of the land and what it offers us. And for myself, somebody who gets out into the wilderness a lot, it's not lost on me how important this land is to us. And so for that, we say Haichka. Thank you. And if you'll just join me for a moment as we step into a prayerful moment. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes and allow your breath to soothe you from the tip of your head to the points of your toes, knowing and acknowledging that we are one, that we have this incredible gift of energy, of spirit, of vibration, of frequency that flows through us, around us, in us, and as us. And we can acknowledge our blessings to be united as a people, as a community, as a city, as a nation, working towards the greater good of all. And for this, we are grateful and we say, thank you, Spirit. I think we have help each other through.
All we can do is be there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. All we can do is be there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. Twist and turns, unexpected, day by day moving on. I don't have all the answers, come what may, right or wrong. All we can do is be there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. Crashing waves touch the shore. Time moves faster every day. Ebb and flow, no control. All that's left to say, all we can do is be there for each other in these times when we don't know what to do. All we can do is be there for each other and help each other through. And help each other through.
One more time. So welcome again, everybody. It's the wise words portion, which if you remember, if you were here a few years ago when we first started this wise words, when I would see the slides, I always thought Patricia meant I had to come up with something wise. And I always thought like, man, are we in trouble? This is probably not going to go well. Then I found out I got to pull from outside sources, and I was like, oh, that makes this way easier. But we never know where those sources are going to come from. And on Friday, I went over to the mainland and I joined 4 of my buddies, and we went on a motorcycle ride up to Harrison Hot Springs. And then I spent the evening at a friend of mine's house, and we were going to have some sushi for dinner. And his wife thought, you know, there's something I read every day. Maybe you'll enjoy this. And so she got this book out. It's called A Deep Breath of Life. It's Daily Inspiration for Heart-Centered Living, Alan Cohen. And it's just the day of the month. That's it, no year, obviously. So she read for April 19th. And so I pulled for April 21 from that book, and I will share that today. It was just like, oh, look at this gift that has shown up for me. I now have wise words for Sunday. It begins with, there are 3 impediments to enlightenment: lust, fear, and duty, from the Buddha. Jesus told the parable of a wealthy man who went through a town inviting the important people to a great feast. Sorry, I have to work, said one man. I'm on my way to bury a relative, answered another. Everyone he asked could not come because they had something to do first. Finally, the man invited all the poor people in town, and they accepted because they had nothing else more pressing. Jesus likened the banquet to the kingdom of heaven, which we miss if we are caught up in the worldly activities. Time and again, Jesus affirmed that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and we may enter it if we are open to receiving it. This kingdom is just as available today as it was when Jesus pointed toward it. Since that time, we have invented even more duties that we believe we must perform before we can have peace. So begin to examine your sense of duty and ask yourself where it comes from. Do you respond to the needs and wishes of others because you will feel guilty if you do not? Anybody? Is it just me, or is there any? Okay, there's others? Good, okay, just me. That's why I became a minister, because it's just me. Got it. Do you respond to the needs and, oh, sorry, I read that one. Do you believe that you must play out the roles others tell you that you should fulfill to be a good daughter, son, wife, husband, employer, student, or disciple? Do you postpone joy because you believe that you must first strive, suffer, or pay off karma? Activities are valuable only if they bring us closer to peace. Relationships are healthy only as much as they reflect real love. Careers are important only for the aliveness they bring us and service they render to others. To follow any creed that does not proceed from your heart is hypocrisy and psychic self-abuse. I like that one, psychic self-abuse. Begin to sincerely question your motives for social activities and let go of anything that does not reflect a truth you believe from the inside out. Your life is too important to live for others, so come to the banquet now. And there's an affirmation at the end of this. Bless me with the strength to live my spiritual truth and ideas. I walk the path I believe and let all else go. Let's repeat that. I walk the path I believe and let all else go. And so it is.
I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Well, hello, everybody. So great to be here. And so we have standing room only. How great is that? um, so I'm excited to talk to you today about the truth because I have this complicated relationship with what is true and the truth right now. And I thought I would share my confusion with all of you. So you might be wondering if I'm going to tie this all up at the end, and probably not, because I haven't figured it out for myself. That's my disclaimer. So I had a very unique experience recently. I had the opportunity to have some conversations with two families. So these families were estranged, and for many years they were estranged. And then I was able to talk to them about some past events. And what I could see was that as they didn't have connection with each other to discuss things, things took on a whole different truth. And it could have been a simple conversation that happened decades ago that somebody perceived in one way in one family, and then somebody else perceived in a different way in another family. And then that added to kind of the narrative of the family. And then they ended up on these trajectories. And what was fascinating to me is 25 years later, that it's like they lived completely different experiences. Because one truth was added on to another truth. And when you have two different groups that sort of are moving off and really just discussing that amongst themselves, it becomes this divergent path. And I was fascinated by this experience. And then I thought, well, holy Dinah, where else in the world does this happen and has this happened? We have wars going on, and how much of that is because the two families were estranged and the conversations, took on a life of their own on these divergent paths. And what was so interesting in this situation is nobody was trying to deceive anybody else. And in fact, it wasn't meant to harm anybody. It was just the compilation and accumulation of truth. And still, it was so vastly different. So which was true? Like, was somebody true and somebody not true? Or is there more to this idea of truth? So I personally am longing for truth right now. I want to turn on the television and have somebody say, this is how it is. And I can say, oh, whew, I'm grateful that someone's figured it out. I can rest easy. And that doesn't seem to really be what's happening in the world. And I can easily go into this. Remember back in the day when we turned on Walter Cronkite and he just said it like it was, and or the Canadian, Peter Mansbridge or the Lloyd Robertson, and then that was true, and you could just believe it, and then you could go about your day. There was no social media. There was no internet to even fact check it, so it was true, right? And now, of course, looking back, we realize actually that was one perspective, right? That was a very North American centric, white privileged point of view. Truth. So that's annoying because now there is no, like, even that thing, I'm like, couldn't we go back to that? Is not there. And now news is left leaning or right leaning. And if you turn on the news channels, most of the shows are actually some person's opinion on what is happening. And actually, I mean, maybe it's their truth, but there's not a lot of just factual, objective truth. So is there factual, objective truth in the world? I don't know. Did I mention I don't have any answers? I have a lot of questions. So misery loves company. So I'm inviting you all into my confusion. So, but this concept of truth, I think it feels to me, which I recognize could be completely untrue. My truth feels like there's an erosion of truth happening. And I watched a documentary the other day, and it's a documentary on health. And it was a bizarre experience watching it because it was essentially, I mean, they didn't say this. They said they were doing an experiment in measuring people who had this sort of Mediterranean, I think, diet and veganism. But I mean, the subtext was definitely, it's better to be vegan. And then there were all these very odd little interjections. Like they did this whole thing where somebody was preparing chicken in their kitchen and then they measured it for all the bacteria that was around. And I was like, what does that have to do with which diet is healthier? But so it was kind of a conflation of all these things. And I mean, they were kind of all true, but they're being pieced together in a very, what I perceived as a propaganda kind of way. And again, though, I just think, could somebody just tell me the truth? Because I long for that as far as health goes. I want to know, does it make sense for me to eat more like this or more like this? But I find when I watch it, it's just so polarized. With climate change, we get into, well, some people are like way over on it doesn't even exist. And then you got other people who are over on this is the answer for everybody, whether it's electric vehicles. And what about, is that the truth that's palatable? Because I think, I mean, I drive a hybrid, for sure, fossil fuels, electric vehicles, there's something in all of that. But we haven't actually had a conversation about consumerism and society. And those, well, maybe we actually need to look at our values. And maybe it's our relationship to the earth. Maybe it's a loss of indigenous wisdom. Like, the whole binary simplify everything is not necessarily lying, but is it truth? So I'm a big fan of the comedian Stephen Colbert. Did you watch his show? So in 2005, he had the Colbert Report, and he coined a term called truthiness. And he was actually, it was often he was talking about things related to George W. Bush at the time. And truthiness meant that something was professed as true just because we feel like it's true, not because it is true. And then in 2016, he coined the term Trumpiness. And that was the term of we don't even need to feel like it's true. We can just profess it as truth. And if we look at the timeline, I think we might be due for a new term. We now have AI that can create a completely fake video showing a person saying a thing they never said that is completely untrue. And we have politicians talking about space lasers. Like, I don't even know that we need a plausibility anymore. So I don't know what that next term is going to be, but it's part of that erosion of truth. And then I know for myself, I have questioned my own truth, my own sense of truth. Because we all make up, I think we all have this little rule book of this is what's true for me. And if you're anything like me, I judge other people based on it. So I had a situation years ago. I work with students in post-secondary education, and I had a student lie to me, and I was crushed. I love my work. I put my heart and soul into it, and I feel I do right by these students. And then a student lied to me, and I was very upset about it. And then, so the students I worked with at the time are students with disabilities. And I had this rule book, this truth that said, one should never lie. It is bad to lie. And then I thought about, well, you know what? For some people in the world, lying is necessary. It's a very privileged perspective to say, I have a sort of general acceptance that I'm treated fairly, that things go my way. If I got pulled over by the police, I would tell them the truth. Like I don't have a feeling of oppression in that way. And yet other people do. Some people live in a world where the cards are really stacked against them. You know what? Sometimes lying makes sense. And sometimes it's the safest thing to do. So see, even that truth that seemed like a pretty basic, like, it's a good person, you don't lie, actually wasn't so true. But then I loved, actually, your reading earlier. I thought that idea of that internal truth, because there's got to be truth somewhere or something like it, right? I'm not willing to give up hope completely. One of the podcasts I love to listen to is We Can Do Hard Things. And Glennon Doyle said, she was telling a story about something, and she says, well, I don't know if that actually really happened and if it's factual, but it's true. And I thought, oh, I like that. I like that because I mean, that's story, right? Narrative. Like sometimes myth is told in this story that stuff didn't really happen, but it's still true. Right? It has a truth to it. If we look at religion and spirituality, I mean, some people absolutely believe that Muhammad was the last prophet. Some people believe that Moses parted the Red Sea and led the Israelites out of Egypt, that Jesus turned water into wine. And those things may not be factual, but are they true? Maybe. And maybe it aligns with something within us that is true. And I think that is what Unity and all the New Thought teachings have tried to do is they've tried to look into all the ancient traditions and say, okay, what's true here? We're not so sure about the parting of the Red Sea and stuff, but there's got to be a truth in here somewhere. Like, what is that fabric of truth? And pulling all of those threads and weaving it together into kind of a new movement. So that is sort of what we've built ourselves on. And if I'm honest, I think we've built some truths that maybe aren't true as well, right? Because that's the slippery slope of truth. And I've been reading some books on consciousness right now. So if you think I was going to find hope there, I did not. And these books have really unpacked our, when we think we may, it looks at all these like neuroscience, and when we think we've made a decision, actually our brain decided it before our conscious mind said, yes, I decide to do that. I think, good grief. If I can't even trust up what's going on up here, then what is true? This idea that, there is consciousness, and yet maybe it's not that consciousness that drives us, but it's our consciousness that's aware of what's happening. Like, well, that sort of unpacks a whole lot of what I was holding as true. So where does that all leave us? Actually, I'm really asking, where does that leave us? If there is no truth out there, if we can't turn on the proverbial Walter Cronkite, if even sometimes our own internal beliefs and processes are not true, if even our intuition and our sort of subconscious mind can lead us astray, what is true? So what do we do with this? And because I don't know, can we answer that question? I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to do as I move into this awareness, and I've dragged you all with me, is I'm trying to hold it a little bit more lightly. I'm trying to, whereas I would have asked, what is true? Now I'm trying to ask, what is true for me? And then even further, what is true for me right now? Because this has been the biggest angst I have about ministry is I say something as truth, and then next year I'm like, I don't believe that anymore because I'm learning and growing. So the holding it as a steadfastly, people should never lie. Well, you know what? Sometimes that does actually serve them well. So science actually is one of those places where it, destroys our thought on truth. That idea that something can be a particle and a wave depending on whether somebody's looking at it, which is true. But science has this aspect of they tend to hold things as true and not true, and yet there's an ease of moving to something new. So maybe, often when something is sort of put forward as this is what our findings were, this is true, is there's an asterisk to that in the scientific world of, as for the study we did today. But we could do another study tomorrow and it will show completely different results, or it will falsify this, and then we just move to that place. So maybe even that is something we can bring in. Who knew I was going to learn from science? Somebody who didn't even finish biology 11. But just that idea of that we hold it lightly, not as this thing that I need to fight to the death over. And then I can question within me those firm beliefs. And when I feel myself pushed up against somebody's threatening my truth, and I can start to question that. There's an interesting thing happening. Do you all know the work by Byron Katie? You heard of that? So she wrote a book ages ago. I don't even know when it was. And it was a big thing at the time when I read it. And it's having this resurgence. Everywhere I look, I see people referring to Byron Katie's The Work in mainstream society. And she has a method for kind of challenging those truths that we hold that maybe aren't serving us. And she has the 4 questions with the turnaround. The first question is, and it's when we have a thought that maybe is not serving us or a belief, is it true? Question number 2, can I absolutely know that that's true? If we think about my lying thing, people should not lie. Is that true? Sure, I believed it at the time. Could I absolutely know that it's true? Well, it turns out it serves some people to lie. How do I react? And what happens when I believe that thought? Well, I get pretty judgy of people. I get pretty offended when they lie to me. And I get very like, you're a good person or a bad person because of whether you told the truth. Who would I be without that thought? Who would I be if I wasn't so fixated on people must never lie? I'd be a much more open-minded person. I'd be much more accepting of different views. So the idea, and then the last piece that Byron Katie talked about is turning it around. So my belief that people should never lie or lying is bad is that lying is sometimes a necessary thing for people, or lying has its place in some situations to turn that around. So what can we do with it all, and where do we find truth? I loved the like asking, taking a step on what do I believe? Asking ourselves what is true for me right now. And then I think there's a place, because this is all very on the cognitive level, but then I think there's a place of truth within. I think art, if anybody has had the opportunity to see Judith's art, that is true. It is there, it's color, it's pure in form. There is a truth in that art. Our meditation, that experience where we have that almost transcendent moment where we lose kind of attachment to our form, I think that's pretty true. Love, I think that feeling of love is true. And then I think sometimes also we need to just bring it down into these very laser focused, small truth. You know that warm smile that you exchange with a stranger? That's pretty true. In that moment, it's true. It doesn't have any story around it. But I think in those moments, we can tap into that truth. And maybe that's all we need to look at in that moment. So I'm not suggesting we erase accountability for people. I'm just suggesting that maybe we need to kind of rethink truth. Maybe we need to tap into the truth within. Maybe we need to expand our ideas of truth without it being this box that people are judged by. So those are my thoughts on truth. That's my confusion that I've shared with you all. So let's listen to a song that's going to bring it all clear to us, and then we'll do a meditation. Thank you all.
joy of peace. Free to be the voice of peace. I am whole. I am whole. I am
If you're willing, close your eyes and join with me. Taking a deep breath into the place of the I am. Into that place, that source of all love, that place of peace. Breathing our way into that place of wholeness that is right where we are. Recognizing this place, this I am, as the place and the source of all truth. That ever-expanding, infinite love. That ever-expanding, infinite peace. That field beyond ideas of right doing or wrongdoing. Allowing yourself to rest fully in this space and place. Recognizing its ever-presence within. The wholeness as our source. The peace that passes understanding. The love that shines throughout the world. That infinite intelligence, that benevolent source. Allowing every breath to open our awareness wider and wider to recognizing that source as all life around us, through us, in us, and as us. Settle into that place that is never changing, that is that infinite wellspring of love and peace. reminding ourselves that the path to this place is simply an inhale and an exhale, opening our awareness, surrendering into the truth of life, the truth of love. And in this awareness, take a huge, deep breath in, absorb all that love, and breathe it out into the world. Namaste.
The whisper that I hear in my heart telling me it's time to stop, to set my inhibitions free, become the me I'm here to be. So I like brave as if I am, act as if until I can, live each day as though I know that what I seek is seeking me. Even when that's hard to see, I choose faith, so I believe. What I seek is seeking me, oh yeah. It's time to just let go of my fear, trusting that the net will appear, believing things I know are true in everything I say and do. So I like brave as if I am, act as if until I can, live each day as though I know that what I seek is seeking me. Even when that's hard to see, I choose faith, so I believe. What I seek is seeking me, oh yeah. What I seek is seeking me. I believe, I believe, I believe. When every day's a daily grind, peace is something I can't find. This is what I keep in mind, that what I seek is seeking me. What I seek is seeking me. Even when that's hard to see. Even when it's hard to see. I choose faith, so I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. Oh, what I seek is seeking me. Oh yeah. What I seek is seeking me. What I seek is seeking me. Even when that's hard to see. Even when it's hard to see. I choose faith, so I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. That what I seek is seeking me. Oh yeah. What I seek is seeking me. What I seek is seeking me. What I seek is seeking me. I believe, I believe, I believe. What I seek, what I seek, what I seek is seeking me.
Thank you, Reverend Amanda. That was awesome. Thank you. Your idea of not lying what it sparked for me was, I wrote this down, imagine if we lived in a world where people didn't need to lie. Because I had never thought of that, is lying true? And then to think, well, yeah, if you're in a desperate situation and that's all you have, you're going to do whatever it takes. And, to think a world where that actually, nobody actually needed to do that, what would that look like? And then my other one, not so serious about the truth, was I was sitting there and I was thinking, yes, truth. Drums are true. You either play them or you do not. That was like my sort of, I don't know what that was, but that was my other, I think I was channeling Nico on that actually, because, or Yoda maybe, yeah, I'm not sure, but. Yeah, exactly. Anyhow, what is happening in our communities? Anybody know what is happening? Well, right after today, for those that can, and I would encourage as many as possible, we are headed to Brechin United to meet and do a meet and greet there. If you can carpool, that might be beneficial for parking there, because they're just finishing up their service, so I'm not sure what parking will look like there. I have a motorcycle if anybody wants to jump on the back. I've got an extra helmet with me, so I can take one other person. But yeah, we're headed to Brechin United, and I'm not sure if the address is on there.
2020 Estevan.
Ah, there we go. I thought that was the year it was built. There we go, 2020 Estevan Avenue. I saw 2020 and I was like, that's not an address. So yeah, join us there. We'll be headed out right after. And there, I think there is coffee here. Is that correct? Nope, nobody's done. So if you want coffee and congregation after, you can't be here. You've got to leave. All right. Unity Vancouver Island, Victoria on Monday, April 29th, an afternoon with Oprah. Last Monday of each month, they have Oprah interviews. And that's in the First Met, room 119 from 1 to 2:30, and that's in Victoria. 2 weeks from today, right here on this property, is the Welcoming Summer Festival. There'll be live music all day. There will be metaphysical opportunities with healers and people directly. So invite your friends and family. We still would love some more volunteers. And you can contact barryhunt@gmail.com, as it looks like volunteers are still being accepted. We still like volunteers and we accept you exactly the way you are. Choose from 6 small groups. So this is from Unity Canada. You can go to the Unity Canada website and register for any of these 6 spiritual teachings. They typically run anywhere, I think, from 6 to 10 weeks. And you meet on Zoom and either do a book study or whatever that particular spirit group is about. It's a great way to connect with other New Thought people across the country, as well as have some learning opportunities on New Thought teachings. And Unity Vancouver Island, Victoria, they have a prayer circle first Monday of each month at 11 a.m. That's also at the Met in room 119. And an in-person service was today with Reverend Patricia. She was there today. That's why she's not here. And last week she was up in Comox. So we have a traveling minister. Literally, yes. And up in Comox, the second Sunday of each month, there's an in-person service, and there's a prayer circle the second and fourth Tuesdays in their spiritual center at 11:30. Ongoing Nanaimo events are Seated Tai Chi. Those all happen right here. A Course in Miracles, the Full Moon Circle Women's Group. Is that here? Does anybody know, or is that online? That's here also? Okay, great. Women of the New Moon, that's also here. And then the Quantum Healing Meditation. Oh, sorry. Women of the New Moon is online. The Full Moon Circle is here in person. Okay. We shouldn't let him do that anymore. That's the truth. We should stop him from doing announcements. The Quantum Healing Meditation is the 4th Wednesday of every month. Is that correct? Yes. And so the next one is this Wednesday, April 24th at 6 p.m. And that's also right here in the center. Project Phoenix Rising is online. It's actually, I think, episode 27. But anyhow, it's with Nico Rhodes. And that quote is from him. He was told he has a thumb like an anvil by his music teacher. So apparently he's overcome that to become a gifted pianist. But yes. And what I didn't know is that actually piano was not what he wanted to play. Uh-huh. He wanted to play saxophone. And he played so much that he blew out tendons in his arm and couldn't actually play the saxophone anymore. And his friend said, you can still play piano. And so then he's now picked up saxophone again, I believe, and trombone as well. He's doing trombone. And I told him the joke, you know, what's, you know, what's the difference between a squirrel on the side of the road and a trombone player on the side of the road? The squirrel was probably on its way to a gig. So he didn't like that joke, but I've always appreciated that one, as there's many drummer jokes. So anytime I can throw one out. Anyhow, it's a great conversation with Nico. I learned lots of things about him that I didn't know, including I pressured him as to why he even comes to Unity and if he actually gets anything out of being here or if it's just a paying gig. So anyhow, that's through our YouTube channel. And we have a song. Great. It's like Sue Riley Day, if you haven't noticed. It's Sue Riley Day.
Look around, what do I see? Good or bad, it's up to me. My world reflects what I believe. Here's what I believe. I know there's good in everyone. I know the best is yet to come. Look out, world, 'cause I'm not done. I've only just begun to love like crazy, shine like gold. Be courageous, break the mold. Can't do it all, but this much is true. I can do what I can do. I'll choose compassion over fear. Release my love into the atmosphere. Like a single wave in an endless sea. Any change begins with me. Gonna love like crazy, shine like gold. Be courageous, break the mold. Can't do it all, but this much is true. I can do what I can do. When I feel I'm all alone, I remember one drop of water smooths a stone. Gonna love like crazy, shine like gold. Be courageous, break the mold. Can't do it all, but this much is true. I can do what I can do. Do what I can do. I can do what I can do.
If only I was courageous enough to like stand here and dance while that played, huh? It's not gonna happen. There we go. Stand in the back of the room and everybody's not paying attention. Well, first of all, and I'll let the kids know that that slide is up next. Sometimes it catches them off guard, so Brooke's aware now. But we are such a blessed center that the amount of abundance that flows through this center, not only in our spiritual awareness and the people, but also the financial support that we get, the ongoing willingness for people to dig deep and do things and participate and serve. It is it's truly a great thing to witness from from my perspective of coming into ministry and seeing the willingness that people have for taking care of their center. So for that, I want to thank all of you for that, and everybody that's online that contributes either financially with their time or with their ideas. It's truly a gift. So thank you to all of us. Mhm. And if you'll join me for our children's blessing as they see that timing. Ha. So yeah, we see the divine light shining as you. We love and appreciate you exactly the way you are. And our vision for Unity Vancouver Island is a growing, unfolding, expanding center of light and love, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others. And our friend Margaret will be in the prayer room. Margaret, hi. So she won't be coming to Brecken. No, but yeah, Margaret will be in the prayer room if anybody is requesting one-on-one prayer time. Thank you, Margaret. And please join us for our prayer for protection. The light that is God surrounds us. We are one with the light. The love that is God enfolds us. We are one with the love. The power that is God protects us. We are one with the power. The presence that is God watches over us. We are one with the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. Amen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be,